Hey everyone, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ted, and today I'm joined by
Nerdarchist Dave.
Today we're diving into Critical Role Campaign 2. We're up to episode 23.
We're going to start this episode by thanking our sponsors, Easy Roller Dice. Whether it's your first set of dice or your 1 millionth set of dice, Easy Roller Dice. You can check the description below and you can find a link to Easy Roller Dice /Nerdarchy, as well as a one-time coupon code for a whopping 20% off. Go get your Easy Roller Dice.
All right, so as I said in the beginning, we're talking about episode 23, and we get to see what winds up happening after they've left. What is it? The safe house, the hollow, whatever you want to call it, and dealing with not Sahagan but Marrow.
Yes. Also worth mentioning, even though it has nothing to do with the episode in particular, is the fact that Critical Role are branching out on their own. They got their own studio. They're going to be doing their own thing. They're going to be doing their own shows. They're going to be doing other shows. So, there's more stuff coming out for Critical Role that we're going to keep our eyes tuned for.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm curious to see what's going to wind up happening with that.
Yeah, now they've kind of like taken control of their own fates and masters of their own destiny. But, jumping back into the episode, like you said, that they've defeated the Swamp Marrow. They've blocked off the safe house so that they can't come back in, using their broomsticks or whatever. And they only have one left, and that's a good thing because now they have a plan.
So really, the way they had ended the last episode, I really thought that they were just gonna leave for Braun. He was just a corpse at that point in time, but I thought they were gonna leave him and his money behind. They wanted nothing to do with the troll, and that they were gonna head back to Barrel Bend, and try to save as much time as they could. But they get into it and they start planning, and it's like, all right, they're gonna go after this troll. They're gonna try and bring this thing down for the sake of 100 gold, knowing that you can't really get into melee with this thing.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it, too, is a little redemption, and they were just annoyed with him. He killed their guide, and he did mess them up pretty good. And, they were kind of even worst case scenario is we're just going to blow up his house.
So they do go into that, and it speaks to not the players, but the characters and their greed. I think they were more concerned about the gold than it was about revenge for Braun.
Well, that's a little too bad because of the way that ended. They do much better than they did with their initial encounter with the troll. They were able to plan things much better. They were able to attack from range. They were able to use dynamite on them. They were able to get some fire attacks in there.
The dynamite did 2 points of damage. They had this whole thing set up.
It was all about the fear, man. It's all about striking terror into the heart of your enemies with that loud explosion.
There was 2 points of fire damage. There was a little bit of shrapnel damage that
the players took.
That Matt rolled behind the screen, but I was like,
yeah.
okay, the dynamite does 2d6 damage, and Nott rolls 2 ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's technically a ranged weapon. Can he sneak with it?
Yeah.
But again, as much as I love
rules as written, I think that qualifies, but it is a little silly.
Just like sneak and attack with a ballista.
Yeah, or the catapult. But yeah, rules as written.
So they set up this whole amazing plan, and just like the sarcasm intended, the tactical geniuses that these characters are, they don't say, oh well, let's just unleash all of this at once and get the super surprise round and do all of this stuff. They launch the dynamite, it blows up the house, it blows up all the stuff that's in it, shrapnel and gold and whatever has you, rains down over the entire area. They do a piddly amount of damage, and then combat kind of ensues.
The lead up to it was kind of funny and comical, though. I mean, Nott sneaks up there, he's ready to go, he's got the dynamite, and he's like, I don't have any matches. Or she's like, I don't have any matches, and sneaks back, I need a light.
So there's prestidigitation cantrip, tinderbox, none of this stuff that they're thinking. It's like, oh, come on, really?
I do like the fact that they mage handed it in, though. I don't know why, it just appeals to me.
The arcane trickster, he's able to do more with his mage hand, or with her mage hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So from there, it ensues. The fight happens. It goes on for quite some time. It's a big chunk of the episode, actually. And they do end up defeating the troll and bringing a troll heart with them back to town.
Well, when Caleb, well, first off, they beat the troll initially, and I this should have been a little bit of a clue, because he didn't say, "How do you want to do this?"
Well, that's true.
When it drops the first time, and I did go back and check, and I'm like, no, I don't see it there. So the troll begins regenerating because it doesn't go down by fire or acid, and then it pops back up. Fjord keeps getting beat down, and he uses his half-orc resilience to stay up. Troll brings him down. Troll dies, quote unquote. Troll gets back up, beats Fjord back down.
So it was a regular Chumbawamba fight.
Totally. So when Caleb sets this thing on fire, Matt's like, "All right, make a wisdom save," and I'm like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, his backstory." So he totally goes Caleb totally goes catatonic, and Beau has to have a conversation with him to help bring him back in, which I thought was kind of cool.
It was, and we get more good role playing from Kiri throughout the episode, which is always fun. Now we go back to town.
So they start looking around to try and find this 100 gold pieces, and several investigation checks that don't do so well, and they walk out with a piddly 26 gold.
Well, it was 26 gold they didn't have before. Oh, right, they gave him the gold.
They gave him the gold. So they take a short rest next to the pile of burning skulls, which was pretty amusing. And as I said, they found the 26 gold.
From Yasha's failed attempt with throwing the torch.
Well, with throwing the oil that Beau threw, missed. She threw the torch, missed. So they set the oil on the skulls that set fire. It was kind of amusing that it's like, well, you both missed.
They have a good grouping anyway, at least.
Yeah. So then, they get back to Barrel Bend. And, one of the first people that they interact with winds up being Horace.
Who they sent out. They kind of like harbored him and snuck him out of town.
Yeah, they got him out of Zadash. And I know for many sessions it's kind of been like, well, how trustworthy is the gentleman? Did he really get out or did he not? And here is our first, real proof the show of faith has been justified and that Horace is indeed alive and doing well, quote unquote. He's alive at least in Barrel Bend.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool thing for Matt to throw in so you could see that NPC reoccur. And also it does, like you said, gives us insight into, well, this is what the gentleman's like. He does keep his word that we can see so far.
Right. And that is great because that's moments of, number one, some extra role playing, as well as those insights into that character that we don't know a whole lot about. I mean, he could really just be, hey, I'm super charismatic and super wise, and I can deceive like the best of them.
Well, eventually that wears off and people will see through that. So it's just a matter of time. So in order to stay in power, you do have to follow through with some of the things you say, or you're just going to have a different kind of reputation.
It's true. So they wind up deciding that they wanted to have a better place to stay in town. So they go to a more reputable establishment, and the more crazy antics of the group ensue over an obsession with a book.
It is all about the books. Although, Caleb comes across and does quite a bit of charming, and oddly enough, of the group.
He's charming, but his dice rolls fail him repeatedly.
Yeah, although I feel like Matt let the NPC kind of warm up to him because of the role playing.
Well, I mean, I think Matt probably does the same kind of thing that you do, of depending upon what you say and how you say it is going to change the DCs of what you're trying to do. But if you don't roll above a 10, trying to convince someone to part with something is going to be
very difficult. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, as far as parting with it, yeah, absolutely. But as far as breaking through with the NPC and getting on like better terms with her,
right,
that part I felt like Caleb was successful with. Despite the dice.
So
he was able to connect.
It's all about this whole interaction, time after time of trying to find out what the book is, cannot steal it, all of this craziness. So in the end, Molly comes up and is like, "Look, I want to know what this is. I promise I'm not going to tell anybody else. Here's 2 gold. I just want to lord it over them that I know what it is." And it's like, it's feathered leather. And the way Matt says it, it's like, oh my.
Yeah, it was definitely an oh my. Like, again, the trashy literature is coming up again and again and again.
So it's kind of amusing. I know when Matt first teases about it, Laura's like, oh, it's definitely Tusk Love.
Yeah.
But they wind up having a conversation with a little bit of a crazed merchant, and they agree to trade him the Troll's Heart for some potions. And they're really, beating in on, health potions. I, as a game master, know, or the way I run things, Troll's Heart's all about regeneration. Health potions are all about healing. These things kind of go hand in hand. So this should work out well. So they tell him, we'll give you this in the morning. You give me your best work tonight, and we'll be back. So they come back in after they wake up in the morning. They get I'm guessing it's a greater healing potion, because he says it's definitely more than the standard that they've been using, but it didn't say exactly what it was. And then there's a crazy blue potion. They don't know exactly what it does. The potion maker doesn't know what it does, although he does say it offers some kind of resistance or resilience, and it looks like it's got like lightning going through it. So there's a couple different things that I would do with that, but
Feed it to Yasha. Yeah, that part was kind of fun and interesting, and it was all about getting the heart, and the heart was still like beating and stuff, right? Which was kind of cool and gross. So like and the way they kept describing the heart is like, and it's wet and gross and poison. We have a poison-soaked heart for you. So I don't know about that particular heart would be particularly great for making healing potions.
Well, who knows?
Or maybe poison. Maybe just vials of straight up poison.
I mean, trolls in general, maybe not that one, because that one was a pretty vile troll.
Icky. It was an icky troll.
But they set out, on the road, to go and head northeast, and originally what they said, but then they decide, okay, well, we need to actually plan. And there's 2 different paths that they could take. And they wound up choosing to go to Hupperduke because Beau claims that it's a gnome city, and they work hard, and at night they party hard.
Yeah, which was confirmed when they get there. But I'm pretty sure things happen before they get there.
There was definitely, an incident on the road.
Again.
He tells them that there's going to be like a week's worth of travel, and they go through a couple of nights of standard watches where, he keeps them on edge with, okay, make perception checks and let us know if anything happens. And, on the 3rd day of travel, there's a tipped over cart, and it's getting dark. Nott goes to investigate, and she's like, "There's definitely people with crossbows out there. This is an ambush." Mm. So as she sneaks back and they move in, ready to strike, the leader's like, "No, wait, stop!" Nott takes a couple arrows. They wind up stopping the fight after Beau knocks one of them completely unconscious, and they begin to get into this conversation, and they realize this is the same people who ambushed them, earlier, and they pretty much stole their horses, stole their cart, made them...
Well, was it the same one, but they knew of them from them?
No, I think the leader was one of them.
Because there was definitely members that weren't the same ones, because they were telling the story that they heard about it.
Oh, okay.
And then because then they were like, well, you guys know the drill then, because they wanted them to get naked and do the things that the Mighty Nine do.
So I'm not exactly sure. My interpretation was the leader knew exactly who they were. And,
yeah.
Okay.
Not because he was there, but because he's heard of them.
Okay.
Like they're beginning. So I get the impression that this might be kind of like a running joke that's going to start, where now like the bandits are going to every once in a while try and ambush them, but then they're gonna realize it's the Mighty Nine and be like, oh no, these guys are like the bane of bandits.
So.
And then they're going to get robbed.
I thought it was kind of cool when it's like, okay, you can have anything you want. Take our cart. They're like, we already have a cart. We don't need another one. And I'm like waiting for them to size up the 2 carts. Which one's in better condition? Can we trade this out and like take things apart for parts? Like, it was pretty amusing. And like all there was a couple sacks of grain. Really wasn't anything really of value. And Molly's like, I feel bad. He actually gives the leader the armor, the nice looking hide armor that he purchased off of the orc, traveling away from Zadash. So I thought that part was pretty amusing. They decide to let him keep their pants. Beau ransacks the one that she knocked out, takes the few silver that he had, and for whatever crazy reason, she took his pants too. And she gave them to Jester. So now there's, another pair of pants.
Bandit pants. Because she has a spot in her inventory for it. So clearly she just has to keep adding to it.
So they get to Humperdinck, and they realize, oh well, the gate that they rode in towards, that's not for visitors. That's more for, was it military, or whatever,
official use.
Yeah, official use. So they had to go further up the hill to get into the regular trade entrance, and they run into an NPC that.
Well, before that, they were trying to get up the lift. They wanted to go up the lift, the
right.
elevator, and they try and bluff their way through, and they're like, the guard's like, yeah, you're kind of BSing us, and go away. And then, like, soon after that, they do run into that NPC you're speaking of.
So the NPC, like, the players are a little leery about dealing with her, because she's like, oh, yeah, I'll do this for free. I'll show you around.
She's too friendly and too nice.
Yeah, it's like, what's your deal? And I was like, well, you might have to, help me get some revenge or what have you. And it's like, all right, this is definitely going to be a little bit interesting. And I'm excited to see where this goes. Throughout the episode, as you brought up, that Kiri has some fun moments. But Beau does have a conversation with Jester saying, at some point in time, like, we really need to find some way to get rid of Kiri, because she's going to die and die horribly.
Yeah. There's also 2 instances where Jester uses sending twice to some comical use, because she does this like drawn out long thing, and it's only 25 words, and she's not concise at all. So she once to the gentleman and once to her mom that she sends off like these cut off messages. And they were also joking about, people in the audience are going to be counting how many words to tell Matt that he was wrong about how much went in or went out. So there was a bit of that with the annex as well.
But it was cool that Mom actually replied and said, "Oh, did you get your package? And I miss you and blah blah." So it's kind of cool to see that the supposed relationship with the mother is indeed genuine, and it's not one of these, "Oh yeah, I'm the daughter of this person, but she doesn't give a rat's ass about me." I question those kind of things, because we don't know. And Jester, like, she definitely knows how to deceive people. Like, that's one of the things she's good at.
Yeah, she's got a shady past, and she's got a trickster god. So, these things go hand in hand. We kind of learned some things about the town. Like, they work 12, 14-hour days, but then they party all night. And Beau was not exaggerating. And that's kind of like where we left off, I feel like.
Yeah, so the sound starts to pick up. And it's like, I don't know whether they're going to get into brawls or whether they're going to get into a serious party or what. But, it's definitely with action is going to happen to some degree at the start of the next session. So yeah. I'm pretty excited.
Something's going down. What did you guys think of this session? We got a place where we can talk about it, and that is down in the comments below. While you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
While you're down there, don't forget to check out the link for Easy Roller Dice, and don't forget to use that promo code.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.